Islam Makhachev's lightweight throne may not last through 2026, because Arman Tsarukyan isn't just calling for a title shot, he's declaring war on everyone standing in his path, including the champion himself. And the way this story is unfolding feels less like a rivalry and more like a rebellion.
Yeah, he said if you're gonna give me Arman, I'm gonna leave this title, so he should leave that title and give me anybody. I'm not gonna looking for easy fights. I can fight with anybody.
Arman Tsarukyan didn't just beat Dan Hooker in Qatar. He made a statement. Moments after his victory, he demanded Ilia Topuria's name, calling for a title fight in January. He didn't ask politely. He challenged every top contender, saying they were all running scared, especially Ilia. He said the #1 spot is his, and if the UFC keeps protecting its favorites, they'll expose themselves. Arman's message was loud and clear. He doesn't want promises, he wants a contract right now.
Well, you got to face the cold hard truth, so you're probably never going to get hands on a title, but I'm going to hang around as long as I possibly can and ruin as many people's hopes and dreams as I can.
Then, before fans could even process that call out, Arman doubled down. He said his fight with Ilia would be the biggest showdown the UFC could possibly make. Not just in lightweight, in any division. He accused Topuria of dodging him like the cage was on fire. To Arman, this isn't just another matchup. It's the fight that could split the sport wide open. And as the tension built, Ilia's next move sent shockwaves through the MMA world.
But then Arman obviously spun out like the perfect blend of athleticism, instinct, and technique. It was just, was never in any danger.
Ilia Topuria didn't respond with words. He answered with humiliation. A video surfaced. In it, Ilia claimed Arman talks big online, but freezes up in person. He mocked him, saying he slapped him backstage during UFC Qatar and even pointed to the footage like it was courtroom evidence. According to Ilia, Arman's a keyboard warrior, tough behind the screen but soft in real life. And with that, this rivalry turned from simple trash talk into a full-blown psychological war.
And Hooker pulls guard, he's got that same guillotine. Oh my god, what the f? Arman just did a 360 180 backwards to get out. What the f happened? His neck, he just twisted. It's all that he does in the fucking workouts and shit. He just twisted the other way. You don't usually turn that way, and he did. Ow.
Arman didn't stay silent for long. He fired back immediately, tearing down Ilia's story. He said that slap was nothing more than a light neck tap. Something you do before taking a holiday photo, not before a fight. Arman called Ilia insecure, saying he thrives on attention instead of competition. He reminded everyone that he doesn't need Twitter to prove himself. His proof comes from what he does inside the cage. Then came the coldest line yet. If Ilia wants to feel a real slap, Arman will gladly deliver the educational version. And with that, the feud turned personal. Maybe too personal.
Yeah, he said if you're gonna give me Arman, I'm gonna leave this title, so he should leave that title and give me anybody. I'm not gonna looking for easy fights. I can fight with anybody, and UFC knows I'm like open to anybody, and I don't know, he's trying to not call my name. He knows that the #1 and the real fighter, it's me.
Arman kept his foot on the gas. He said if Ilia refuses to fight real challengers, he should just hand over the belt. In Arman's eyes, the champion is hiding, ducking every real threat. He said Ilia is defending the title against shadows, not contenders. This was the moment when tension became dangerous. Even UFC insiders began to whisper that the fight might be impossible to avoid now, because when one man's hunger meets another's pride, something has to break.
Dan is a good fighter, good man, but you know he's not on that level. He took a chance, he got the money, but I want to say thank you for him too, because if if he didn't take this fight, I couldn't fight this year, and next year probably I'm not gonna get the title, but because of him I'm here. I got the win, I got money, I got everything, attention, you know. I just want to say thank you to him.
Then came a surprising twist. Arman showed deep respect to Dan Hooker, the man who actually said yes when everyone else said no. He praised Hooker for having the courage that others lacked, thanking him for keeping the division alive. Arman said without Hooker, his momentum would have died months ago. That gratitude coming from such a fierce fighter changed the tone, and Hooker's response kept it real.
Well, you got to face the cold hard truth, so you're probably never going to get hands on a title, but I'm going to hang around as long as I possibly can and ruin as many people's hopes and dreams as I can, because if I can't have nice things, no one can. Cheers. Cheers.
Dan Hooker responded like a true veteran. He told Arman, "Respect, mate," and said he's staying right where he is to make sure no one gets an easy road to the belt. He admitted he might never wear UFC gold, but he'll make sure the path to it is a nightmare for everyone else. Even in defeat, Hooker's grit added fuel to the fire. The division suddenly felt smaller and more dangerous than ever.
Performance was crazy like what I said. I knew it's gonna be finished, but I wanted to wait, so don't say that. I went for it. I like we accepted, you know. So Arman is the best, so he's the number one. He's the champion. He's the athlete. So I believe this guy is one of the best fighters in the world. He has to fight for them.
Then Khamzat Chimaev entered the scene, bringing chaos with him. He jumped online, calling for Arman Tsarukyan to get the next title shot immediately. He said Arman's the best, the true number one, and that giving anyone else the fight would be a gift to Ilia. When someone like Khamzat speaks, the whole sport listens. And now everyone was watching.
Big swinging here, Arman with a head outside, single leg goes into a head inside leg. Dan Hooker pulls guard. He's got that same guillotine. Oh my God! What? Arman just did a 360 180 backwards to get out. What the happened? His neck, he just twisted. It's all that does in the workouts and twisted the other way. You don't usually turn that way, and he did. Ow. Dude, he just went, I'm an owl. He just decided to be an owl for a little bit. Now Dan Hooker's on his back again. 3.5 minutes left to go.
That's when Sean O'Malley joined the discussion, saying he couldn't believe how Arman escaped Hooker's guillotine, comparing it to something out of a horror film. But O'Malley went further, claiming the UFC won't book Arman versus Ilia because they're protecting their golden boy. He said the promotion knows Arman might take the belt, and that could ruin their marketing plans. The idea spread fast, a conspiracy that only added more fire to an already explosive rivalry.
Arman is no joke. Arman versus Ilia is an interesting matchup. I do not think the UFC will make Arman versus Ilia because I think they love Ilia as a champion. He's a great champion, and I don't think they really want Arman to become champion. He has a legitimate chance at beating Ilia. I can't believe I said it. I think Ilia might knock him out, but if anyone has a chance of beating Arman at Ilia at 155, it's Arman, the Turkey Mound. Tsarukyan.
Michael Bisping then broke the fight down in detail, and his respect for Arman was obvious. He said Tsarukyan dominated Hooker in every area: striking, clinching, wrestling, and submissions. He highlighted the vicious leg attacks, the crucifix control, and the relentless ground and pound that ended the fight. Then Bisping reminded fans of Ilia's own words, that he'd rather vacate the belt than fight Arman. Hearing that now hits like a thunderclap.
It was an incredible performance from Arman Tsarukyan. Dan Hooker, I think it's fair to say that everyone loves this guy. He's very entertaining. This new version with the tattoos has put on a lot of muscle. He doesn't care. He's got swag. His dress sense has changed. He's dyed his hair like Eminem. He's talking a lot of shit. He was calling Arman every name under the sun.
Title contender, the guy that beat Ilia, and now he's losing to Dan Hooker, the bloke from New Zealand who's lost a third of his fights.
And I think he convinced a lot of people that he was going to do well. And, you know, granted, he has beaten the likes of Mateusz Gamrot that beat Arman Tsarukyan.
Robert Whittaker added his take, calling Arman's performance freakishly good. He praised his flexibility, his composure, and his technique, especially how he slipped out of that guillotine like his body had no bones. Whittaker admitted something might have been off with Hooker, but even then, Arman was on another level. Then he added a twist, suggesting Paddy Pimblett could earn a title shot, but only if he beats Charles Oliveira first. That one comment threw another log on the fire burning inside this division.
Dan has a great guillotine, okay, and you could see, especially in the second round when he went for the guillotine, he was cinching it up. He was in the midst of cinching it up, but then Arman obviously spun out like the perfect blend of athleticism, instinct, and technique. It was just was never in any danger. I thought Arman didn't do a lot of work in round one against Fence, but it looked like he took a lot out of Dan's arms and body, like that contest of strength and grappling in that first round. I felt Arman kind of invested, you know, in that round. And then round two, when he was in guard, that would have to be some of the best guard work I've seen I don't know, in a while.
Henry Cejudo, never one to stay quiet, jumped in next. With classic Triple C confidence, he called Arman the man destined to dethrone Ilia Topuria. He said the UFC needs to make that fight immediately. No delays, no excuses. Analyst Aaron Bronstetter and Danny Segura backed him up, saying Arman's the biggest threat to Ilia and the rightful next challenger. And suddenly, the pressure on the UFC grew impossible to ignore.
Tonight, Arman was fantastic. On the feet, he cracked him, he connected with knees, kicks, he butchered up his calf. I mean, everything that he was throwing was landing with authority. Then he took him down, almost crucifixed him, elbowed the crap out of him and just made life miserable for Dan Hooker. And then in the second round, it was more of the same. He went out, butchered him up, landed some shots, took him down and then choked him out. So listen, no disrespect. Dan Hooker's incredible, right? And there's no shame in losing to Arman Tsarukyan. He is kind of like this new generation. He was to fight Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria was in attendance, but he has been very quiet. And he did say that he would rather vacate the belt than fight Arman Tsarukyan.
Now, the lightweight division is hanging by a thread. The champion's running out of time and opponents. Every word, every post, every interview is pulling the sport closer to a collision it can't escape. When that cage door finally closes, one legacy will rise and another might end. Whatever happens next will reshape the UFC forever. And when it does, you'll remember where you heard it first.
Because to the point where I think there was something wrong with Dan. Like Dan had injured something, or he was unexpectedly gassed from that first round. Like there was something, there was a spanner in the works, because Dan has a better guard than that. But Arman was just kind of blasting through it, and those tight elbows from guard. Like,
oh, bro,
I don't know. I was looking at his flexibility of his shoulders, man, and the speed and the shorter arms than Dan, obviously, because Dan looked like a giant there. Arman looked tiny up against Dan, okay? But still, like, I don't know, he just, and then, with the ground and pounding from guard, which you don't see a lot of, and Dan really had no answer for it. He opened his guard and was kind of just shelling up.
Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that hit harder than a spinning back fist.